because when I have dreams where they hide themselves like that, I can normally tell that
Mhm.
they're other beings or my spirit guide dressed as this person. But these actually felt like other people in the collective unconscious. Like
Oh,
I don't it's really hard to like explain. They
yeah.
felt like people on our earth in our timeline.
Oh, okay.
They
Hmm.
didn't feel because uh, normally I'd agree with you with that. Like my I have a lot of dreams where they are masked. Like I have spirit
Yeah.
guides, my higher self, whatever it is, or even other beings from other places. Like
Yeah.
they come in and they're masked as like people that make me feel comfortable or whatever it may be. And I know, but this was an experience that I haven't had or haven't had in a very long time. It was like I was a part of a collective unconscious in a more personalized way.
Welcome to Journey Through the Universe. We are here today recording on August 13th. So it is the day after the Leo solar eclipse. And it definitely didn't disappoint, although I don't know. We're like officially in eclipse season. So like I'm sure there's more to come. I hate to say, especially the next eclipse is going to be a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So that's always fun. Um, but
Oh yeah.
how are you doing day after the eclipse and all of that?
I actually feel really good today. Um, Prior to the eclipse, I feel like the chaos ensued. I mean, like for like a week straight before the eclipse, it was just chaos. It was just like a lot of unstable energy, a lot of like inability to regulate emotions.
Mhm.
And like I'm in my luteal phase now. I wasn't in my luteal phase when I was going through all this stuff. Like I was feeling, you know, good in my body. But like I don't know, that chaotic energy was just so intense in my life. And I'm glad we're over the hump because I'm over it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a lot of like creativity come through. I really felt that Leo energy, but I also felt the ego. I felt the chaos, and I am glad we're over it for now. So, how are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good in this moment. I agree the energy leading into the eclipse was unstable. It was like very high energy for me. I literally couldn't sit still. I just had so much energy surging through me and didn't really know what to do with it except like I did a lot of cleaning, organizing, did some recordings and yeah, just kind of showing up and doing whatever felt good, but I definitely um one of the things I witnessed, and we talked about this in the last episode when we spoke about the lunar nodes. I've definitely seen a lot of people voicing their opinions, their passions, their just a lot of people using their voice. And I don't know if it was just because, like, I don't know, my own personal lessons, or this is just what was going on, but a lot of that also I saw people like criticizing others and just kind of on their soapbox in a way, which I feel can be kind of like a blend of Leo and Aquarius, because there's
Yeah.
so much passion, and Aquarius is like known also to be the rebel or the humanitarian or the leader, and it's like, no, this is right and that's wrong. And so I saw a lot of that, and
Hmm.
I personally got felt like I was caught in the middle. But which we'll talk about as time goes on, because one of the things I really feel coming through with the eclipse that we're moving into, which is going to be in Pisces, I really feel empathy playing like a strong like role in all of this, where it's like, okay, we all feel so passionate and we feel so empowered, or we're like feeling and learning how to embody our own personal power. And so it's easy to point the finger or to speak out about, what others are doing that we don't like, so to say,
Hmm.
but also just having that empathy for where people are. And that doesn't mean like we're condoning or we're bypassing. It's more so just like, one, holding your own boundaries, but also understanding, that they are dealing with this, or like they're trying to figure it out too, or whatever's coming up.
Right.
And so it can kind of take the edge off of like the intensity of the emotions. So that's something that, I've actually been experiencing in my own life. I would say that what has came forth in the past like 2 days, I'm annoyed. I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit disappointed and annoyed that it unfolded in this way, but it's like I'm kind of over it, and I see where I'm being guided to move forward and just again like hold my own boundaries and like just be in my own power and my own energy, and just kind of like hold space in a way that is not me giving my power away. So that's kind of where I'm at with the energy.
Right. I completely understand and see that perspective too. I've been seeing a lot of people really standing up for what they believe, but I think this is also, like we mentioned last week with the North and South nodes, like thinking about the South node and Leo and how our ego is being challenged. And I can see how, the goal, the intention of this aspect is to like acknowledge your ego and move through it and understand where like you need to change and improve and whatnot. Maybe you were wrong. Maybe you had some aspects that were more reflective of your shadow. And there are people who are more grounded and understanding of this and are doing the work. And then there are people who aren't doing the work and their egos being challenged, but instead of saying, hey, I'm doing this thing and it's wrong and it's not great and yada, 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 they're kind of like standing in what they chose to do instead of like
They're
challenging
doubling down,
and
is what I like to.
yes, they're
They're
doubling
like,
down on, yeah, exactly. And we're seeing this with that passion, in the public eye too, where people are standing up for what they believe, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're right in what they believe. It could be more damaging and even to the collective. If people are pushing this idea, then there's more like back and forth and is more divide, whatever it may be. I mean, I'm seeing it on a bajillion different levels and hundreds of different ways. Um, but I'm seeing that as well. And I can say personally, like my ego has been challenged every single day. I have been acknowledging myself, even yesterday, simply just like driving. I was at a uh, four-way intersection, but technically it's one, two, three, four, five, six lane, like six different areas. And so it's a little confusing for people if they don't know what they're doing or
mm-hmm.
if they just don't know how to drive. And I waited for my turn to go because, of course, it's a stop sign. There's stop signs. And I went to go, and the person who was in kind of like the lane coming this way started going too. And I like went, and everything was fine. They like slammed on their brakes and whatever, like, but it was very quick. It wasn't even like we were close. And I was frustrated. And then I was driving away and I was like, you know what? I think that lane they were in was a right and straight, not just a right only. So that's where I was wrong. Like I went
Yeah.
thinking that that was a right only lane, but I
Yeah.
think that I am wrong in that. And it's just like continuously like acknowledging what you're experiencing and kind of like navigating and diving into, what happened and acknowledging yourself for your faults. And
Yeah.
so I can definitely see that being a huge thing right now. Like I can see it, I can feel it, I can see other people doing it, and it's very interesting. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's like it's so for me, it's like one of the things, and I was journaling about this the other day. It's really, I'm like, how do we like hold our perspective, our own, like, how do we hold space for all perspectives or all, like, I don't know. It's,
Henley.
and I think it's like taking, like you said, taking accountability for when you're wrong. Also, just like, there's something about like us feeling that it's like like we should um be this way, or like, maybe this person should be in our life, or just trying to like make things work and force relationships, force jobs, force whatever it is. But it's like, and I think when we try to force it, when it's not like a match, then that's when, we start to judge more, and like it's hard to hold
Yes.
space. And it's like, I can respect that person's decisions, but it doesn't mean that I have to, like, I'm not a bad person for like not wanting to be around them, or, whatever it is, or distancing myself, you know. And also on the other end, if someone's like distancing themselves from us, like, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. It's a tricky place to be. And I feel like this is something that's coming up because um I did a few readings yesterday, like tarot readings, and the repeating theme was like people just being themselves, like, just being who you are. Because I feel like this is the time where it's like, yeah, we all have these visions for like our future, what we desire, the community, the planet, whatever. We have all of our visions and we're coming together collectively. But now it's the time where it's not just about like seeing it, it's about building it and creating it. And so it's really important for us to be ourselves, because we're
Mm-hmm.
going to attract in the people that resonate with that. But if we're like changing ourselves for other people, then that kind of gets in
Mm-hmm.
the way, things get distorted. And then it's just like we're losing quote unquote time, I guess is what's coming.
Right.
And so, and I think that's definitely the Leo and Aquarius energy. Just like showing up as you are, like being able to accept others, like, of course, like if they're not harming themselves or others, of course. But it's just
Right.
like being like, but, I think that right now there's just, it's not a match, it's not aligning, and that's okay.
Right. And
And
we have a personal responsibility
yeah,
to reflect our behaviors,
yeah.
to acknowledge where our ego is being challenged, to move through our shadows. And, if we're all taking that responsibility, you're going to find more unity. Because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, you're going to stop thinking it's about you when things happen. Not even to, I didn't really mean to tie this together, but when it comes to like even driving, like you do something or somebody else does something stupid on the road, and there's the frustration of them not being respectful of a very dangerous space. But then there's also the personal attack that people can often feel. Like
Yeah.
they did this to you to personally attack you. And then you start to like really that like ego driving. Like now you're getting angrier because you feel like it's a personal attack. So now you have to like double down and attack them in whatever ways you choose to. But that's showing up in so many different ways. It's like having that ability to take responsibility for yourself, challenging that ego from the Leo perspective will bring that Aquarius energy in more fruitfully. And
Hmm.
I think we are getting to a point where like people who are doing wrong are being challenged
Hmm.
intensely now.
Oh yeah.
And they're making fools of themselves, and people are laughing at how embarrassing they are because they're doing things just objectively bad. And I feel like this is a shift because you have to be humbled in order to self reflect sometimes.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, maybe even
that's taking
all the
the
time. Maybe
accountability.
that's, yeah. And maybe that's like something that we all do, like whether it's like a small humbling or a big humbling, like in order to reach a point of self reflection, there has to be something that like makes you feel embarrassed for how you reacted or acted or what you were believing because of X, Y, and Z, and where the morality comes in.
Hmm.
So we're in such an interesting time right now.
Yeah. And I think like this kind of goes in line with the whole like disclosure thing about what's happening, obviously, with the UFOs and things like that, but it's happening, it's not just there, it's happening on all levels where it's like people's masks are like they're coming off. And that I think that's happening intentionally. You can do it intentionally, and that's also happening like unintentionally. Like it's just this is the time. The time is now, which is why I feel this strong like message of just be yourself. Like your
Yeah.
truth is gonna come out already, like or at
Yeah.
some point. And I'm seeing it like you're saying, a lot of people are like, their shadow is being illuminated, their darkness is being illuminated. We're seeing them for who they actually are, and then the environments are responding accordingly, right?
Yeah.
And things are shifting. And
Right.
so I think one of the things for ourselves, the biggest thing is, being able to, like we're saying, take accountability, and also like being able to have grace for yourself, and like really, like when you mentioned the car situation, like being in the car and like someone does something stupid or wrong or whatever, and it's like we also get mad at ourselves because it's like, oh my God, how could I do that? I'm so stupid. And it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
and we also look at other people like that. And it's like, we're going to make mistakes. That's okay. We just have to slow down, take
Slow.
accountability, give
Yeah.
some space, and then make the changes. It's when it starts repeating over and over again, or you are in a state of denial,
Right.
that it becomes an issue. And that's when, like, people stop, like, we stop losing the grace. Right. And it is really hard to look at yourself and your shadow and your darkness, because you're just like, oh, like that was really messed up. Like, how did I do that? Or how could I think that? But it's like, we're human. Like, can you accept that, take accountability, and make the necessary changes? Which
Right.
is like a big part of like dream work.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been seeing a lot of people really struggling to like be gentle and kind with themselves
Yeah.
and have like a positive outlook on their existence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heavy and sad. And like from an outside perspective, you know that they have all of these beautiful qualities and capabilities, and they can do so much if they chose to. But then you have their inner monologue, their inner voices. And you also can understand how those voices can completely, like, I don't know, distort the way you view yourself in life.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something I wanted to say and I forgot. It's going to come back to me.
Yeah, it'll definitely come back. But I would definitely say that is the ego in itself too, where it's like it's creating that environment of like feeling the separation, like feeling your individuality, feeling like your role in the story, your role in the play, and how, yes, it's separate from others, but there is like, we're still all connected. But sometimes the deeper you get into the ego, the more separate you feel. And like your response and your understanding of that will greatly influence your actions, like, and
Yeah,
how you interact with the world. And so I think that we are like, as the eclipses begin between Leo and Aquarius, that's going to be a big part of like the experience and like the growth there, the transformation.
absolutely. And I remembered what I was going to say. So, in regards to this, I wanted to touch on a topic that I think is a great example of um, Leo and Aquarius and everything going on right now, and kind of just like the ego being challenged and society moving in a more humanitarian perspective. And what I wanted to bring up is Y2K skinny culture coming back. So I don't know if you've been seeing, but there's a lot of celebrities right now who are scarily skinny. And I don't mean like just like
Oh, yeah,
toned,
no, I've seen some. Yeah,
healthy. I mean like skin and bones. You
yeah.
know something's off. You know something's wrong. It's we're not going to sit here and put a mask on and pretend everything's fine. Like I don't like talking about people's bodies, but
Mhm.
this is a epidemic. Like they are trying to bring this aesthetic back.
Hmm.
And, it kind of aligns with where we're at right now with groceries being very expensive. And, like, let's bring skinny culture back because people can't afford to eat.
Okay.
So, yeah, like yeah. But we're seeing such a strong societal rejection
Mm,
and acknowledgement of how unhealthy that is.
yeah.
And the reason I bring this up, of course, because we're in Leo season and Leo is outward expression and the way we view ourselves, the way we display ourselves, the way we like express ourselves, and how we just what we put off aesthetically. And this aspect of Aquarius coming in, but challenging the ego too. Like, I feel like people remember how harmful, well, not that I feel like I know, people remember how harmful this was, how mean people were like in the early 2000s when like heroin chic was still like really popular, and how like you would be a normal looking body, like you'd have a normal looking body and magazines would call you fat, and then everybody would agree, and then everybody would look at themselves and they would compare their themselves to what was considered beautiful in magazines and what was considered ugly or fat or disgusting in magazines because it was so toxic. And with this, like Y2K heroin chic skinniness coming back to the public eye, specifically with celebrities, because we know that that's how trends are moved. Everybody is very much like, this is no, we're not doing this again. We're not doing this again. This was so destructive to our mental health and the way we view ourselves. We're not doing this again.
Mhm.
And I just think that's such a powerful, I just think it's such a powerful acknowledgement of the way that society is reacting to a trend that's trying to be pushed on us and
Mhm.
how that relates to Leo and Aquarius right now.
Yeah. It's like the power in numbers and just being able to finally like stand up for ourselves. And I love that because it's like we're stopping the trends, the unnecessary like just those unnecessary points of or experiences or just like perspectives. And I think my thing is, and I think where what's really important is like the delivery and all of that, and also just like checking our delivery and how we treat the people that are on the other end, because I am always like considering like, okay, well, the people are that are perpetuating, these trends, like what's going on with them psychologically. And also they're playing a role too. Like they're
Yes.
this role to trigger or activate us to like speak up and be like, no more, because we're the ones collectively who decide how like our world is going to be created, right? And so this is
Yeah.
giving us the opportunity. And so again, this is where I think it's really important with the empathy, like still holding your boundaries, speaking your truth, but then also with the understanding of like the role that they're playing or where they might be in this situation, and doing our best not to really heavily like, point and blame and, just
Yes.
being like, no, we're not doing this. This is not in
Mm-hmm.
the best, like, this is not the best experience, or it's just not like anchored in something that is like life giving, right? Or like
Right.
something that's uplifting and empowering. And so we're not doing this. And that's the
Right.
end of it. Like, and I think what's also important is that we begin to like put energy into what we want to
Mm-hmm.
show up, like in like counter to that, show up in the ways that are actually better, so like in more support of our mental health, our well-being, and that's empowering physically, creating different like public systems and structures that support like say like healthy food and how to take care of our bodies, instead of being like, no, that's not what we're doing. Also putting even more triple energy into like showcasing the ways that are like that we should, or not should, but you get what I'm saying, that are
Yeah.
our benefit when it comes to our bodies and like the
Yeah.
express.
And mental health. mental
Right.
health, a more emphasis on mental health. And I don't mean just like more therapists, but just more mental health education in schools,
Yeah, exactly.
around, like in shows and stuff like that. Really, if we're going to push things, let's push things that are going to actually teach us something that's beneficial for our existence. And I agree with you. We have to have empathy. We have to have gentleness. And I'm seeing this with the people who are commenting on this like thin trend right now. The people who are making videos are very specific about the way they're talking about it. And they're going into it, not everybody, I'm sure, but the people that I've been watching, because I don't subscribe to people who are just going to sit there and tear someone down for the way they look.
Yeah.
I'm not about that.
Yeah.
It's so surface level. It's so stupid. I don't need to do that to another human. But these people that I've been watching, they're saying, hey, look, this is not healthy.
Yeah.
We're not commenting on whether or not she's beautiful. We're commenting on the fact that he or she or they
What's the
are
deeper level, what's the
not.
deeper thing? Yeah.
Yes, there's a deeper issues. There's got to be some deeper psychological issues going on. This is not how we want to present to the world. This is not something that we're going to endorse. And we are wishing the best for these people who are going through this. Because, yes, they're playing a role, but like you said, they are a human.
But it's also like one of the things that I very briefly watched like a month or so ago was there's a documentary called I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, it was basically about the Nickelodeon shows from like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the day and like all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. And it's like a lot of these people too who are at the forefront, like celebrities, musicians, who knows, actors, like they also, and this is not to take any like, anything away from their own personal power, but there's a
Right.
dynamic in those spaces where sometimes they're bullied, they're pressured, there's a lot going on
Ooh,
where they are kind of forced into showing up a certain way, especially if like say they're younger and they're making the money for the family or whatever's going on. So it's like again, we don't know what's going on in these people's lives specifically, and like going to the deeper issue and that being something that we're pointing out, like you were saying, like that's really important, and just doing it in the most compassionate, gentle way that we can.
mhm.
We're not going to do it perfectly, but
No,
every time,
perfect doesn't exist.
like the intention there is important because those people like are likely in pain too. That's not a good energy and space to be in. And so it's like showing
Absolutely.
everyone that there's a different way. There's something that's more empowering, that is healthy and for our well-being. And like we're not all meant to look the same or whatever,
Nope.
And so yeah, you're so right. I have noticed that too. And I didn't even realize it was the thing. I noticed it with a few people like in the spotlight. And I was like, that doesn't feel right. Like something felt like
Right.
off about the whole thing. And so, yeah, like that's something we want to pay
Right.
attention to. And it's like we're using our voice, we're being in our own power, which is bringing us to like the solar plexus energy as well. That's associated with Leo, and we're speaking up for ourselves and we're standing together in numbers, which is that Aquarius aspect, but then also just doing that with grace, with compassion, and also patience, because sometimes it takes people to come around, and
Mhm.
so we have to collectively lead. A lot of us lead by example and create what we want to see, like,
Right.
and not just saying like this is bad, right? We're not doing this,
Right.
but also creating and making space and environments and communities for what is going to be healthy and healing.
Right. And I do believe that the people who are getting this thin, the powers that control them and their resources and what they are capable of doing are really in control of this whole thing. It's kind of just like, the Me Too movement. When things happened with producers, with directors, and all these other things who had big names in the industry, if they did something to you and you spoke out, you were blacklisted and
Yeah.
gaslit. I mean, look at what happened with Brendan Fraser. I mean, he was insanely sexy. He was an incredible actor. He was everywhere. And he was abused by people higher in the industry. And when he spoke out about it, he got blacklisted from everything. That's a lifeline cut, you know?
Yeah.
That's your way of making money. That's what you love to do. And I can only imagine the mental and emotional effects that having that type of power over you can do. And we've seen it. Like I don't even have to imagine because we know.
Yeah.
So I feel very bad that these people who are kind of jumping on this, I mean, and I felt the same way. Like I didn't realize I saw Ariana Grande and I was like, ooh, she's looking
Yeah.
real like kind of sickly.
Yeah.
But
No.
then I actually looked into it and it's like a lot of people. And I really feel like they're kind of being forced
Yeah.
into this aesthetic with the threats of cutting off that lifeline.
Yep.
And
There's
it's just it's
expectation.
devastating. It's so sad. And I hope this backlash that the society, like us as a society, is pushing against, you know, pretending that this is a just a trend of beauty helps them recover. Like, you know, when a large group of people, like you have a societal rejection of something that the upper powers are pushing,
Hmm.
they tend to backtrack because they want to make money.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I'm hoping that this societal rejection of that influences positivity and they can heal and become healthier. And again, I don't like to comment on people's bodies because it's a personal journey, it's a personal experience. And like, I don't know what medical issues you have that are causing you to be thinner or bigger or whatever it is. And I'm not going to sit here and judge you. But when it's this consistent with this many people in the spotlight, you know there's an issue.
Yeah, there's something's going on down there. Yeah, and then also like we're sending love and compassion and blessing and hoping for the best, but then also allowing people to like we can't save anyone. We can only really help ourselves. So it's like hoping that people make the choices that are best for them. Um, but like there's consequences for the choices you make. There's a response from your environment from for the choices that you make for all of us. And so like that's a part of the learning process. So we can just hold that. And that's a way of holding space as well, where it's just like, okay, like I'm presenting you with this, like we're creating spaces here for your own personal empowerment, but maybe like you're still learning something there. Maybe there's something deeper, within yourself and your experience that you're learning. And that like I think yeah, again, that kind of takes the edge off of like really getting super invested in what people are doing. Cause even if it's family, like at the end of the day, like you can't make your family do something.
Oh, if we've
It's like,
learned
right.
anything as a
Everyone's going to have
united
their own.
group,
Yeah.
it's that you cannot make your family do jack shit.
Yes. My mom is still learning that. I'm like, okay, yeah, you can keep pushing and it's like, we're all in our own reality. And that's the thing too with Leo. It's like we're all like in our own show, our own movie. Like we're the main character. So we have control over our actions and how we respond to our environment. But
Yeah.
also, there's going to be like, we're going to get the feedback, which will help us to decide how we're going to act or respond. And so, just having grace, like, we're going to make mistakes. We're human, but
Yep.
also I feel like the universe is also like shit or get off the pot now. Like
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
we're building a new world. Like let's stop talking about it and like create what it is that, you know, we have been dreaming about for a long time.
Right. And guys, you don't have to hop on a trend. You
Yeah.
can, if you like something, that's fine. But if you're just doing it because it's popular, there's some self reflection that kind of needs to go into your daily ritual.
Yeah. And that's Aquarius right there. It's like I'm like the queen of that where I'm like, oh, like I was, astrology's been popular, and it just naturally happens. Like I was really like, oh, I'm the astrologer, I'm doing all this and like really into it and doing all the astrology stuff. And then all of a sudden, post pandemic or in the pandemic and leading out of that, like everyone's an astrologer and like everyone's talking about this and that. And naturally, I'm like, I don't really think I'm like like I'm an astrologer, but I don't, Anyways, it's just like Aquarius. They're like, oh, everybody's doing this. All right, I'm gonna go this way and I'm gonna do my own thing. And so
Literally.
I think that that's also like a fun thing that's coming through too, where it's just like, yeah, let's just do something different. Let's switch it up, you know? Oh, that's funny. Did you see that? Like there was a like thumbs up,
I was like, wait, we don't have an audience.
right?
Who's
It
doing
was
a
because I
thumbs
was like this, I guess. Yeah.
up?
But
But
that
no,
was,
you're absolutely right.
yeah, I think this is a good time to share some dreams. And
Yes.
then we're going to share an oracle message for this new lunar cycle, as we always do. But how was as far as your dream space over this past lunar cycle, how did your dream space go? How was it?
Oh my goodness. I can honestly say this is the most that I have recorded dreams in a long time. And I didn't sit down and write full stories like I normally do, like get the all the details and whatnot, because I have found that as of recently will deter me from actually doing it. And I feel bad because I'm missing the details, but not really, because as soon as I start reading the notes that I took, it comes back.
Yeah, mentally.
Exactly. But I recorded probably about 16 dreams.
Wow.
And thank you. And that's like huge. Like, I mean, if you've been listening to us for a while, recording dreams has been very difficult the last like year. I don't know what's going on energetically with me. It's been hard. So to have like 16 or 17 dreams that I actively recorded is monumental. Monumental. I mean, especially like the last couple months, as you guys know, for me has been like really just a mess. To from new moon cycle last month to this month, I'm gonna give myself some like
Yay.
congratulations, you did a great job.
That's awesome.
um but yeah, I'm really impressed with myself. I feel like it's hard for me to get into routine, so to kind of get back into this, it's been really nice. How about you? How has your dream recording been?
Yeah, I've gotten better too. I didn't write 16. I wrote maybe 5 or 6.
That's
But
huge.
that is a big deal. And similar to you, as you definitely inspired me with it, is that I will just write down like the main things. I don't need to write down like all the details because I feel when like it's like I want to, but I feel that it makes me like hesitate or not write it because I'm like, oh, that's gonna be like I remember there was one dream that I shared on the podcast at one point that was like 9 pages. And I was like, Alexis, I write big, so don't worry, it's not that long, but it's long. And like you said, when you go back to read it, like it will trigger your memory and you'll start seeing the dream, feeling the dream, like it'll start coming through mentally. And so I remind myself of that. So that took a lot of the resistance off of writing it. So yeah, I had a pretty active dream space. I could have written more. I definitely had some profound dreams, but I wrote, like I said, I wrote about 5 or 6. So I'm really proud of myself. I feel like I'm getting back into the flow and yay, look at us. Look at us go.
I know. I'm like, so while I was prepping for this talk, I was going through and I was counting in my very unorganized notebook, because when I was writing them down, I was just kind of like throwing them in my notebook for, our podcast.
Hmm.
So I was going through and I was counting them, and it actually inspired me to put in a little bit more effort from now on to build my ritual up again.
Hmm.
Because let me tell you, I have been going to bed at 3:30, 4 a.m. every night. I have just been all over the place and not really I haven't even been having a consistent nighttime tea anymore. And I'm like, that's something that's very important for me.
Hmm.
Like, I want to get back into the habit of doing just a couple things before bed every night to really hone in on, my dream work. Because, when you don't, like, for me, when I don't journal before bed, I have more day residue come through because I didn't
Yeah.
take what I experienced and put it in a container.
Yep.
But also, it just like doesn't allow for a whole lot of um time to wake up and sit in the dream that I had. And like I've been writing them down, taking notes, but I haven't been reflecting as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
And I know it's step by step. Like we want to do baby steps when it comes to getting like ourselves in routine or ritual. At least I do.
Mhm.
Because I know if I add too much to my plate, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So, and I'm using this as accountability. I am going to journal before bed and have a cup of tea every night again.
Nice.
It's simple, to the point, no extra shit. I would like to go to bed earlier, but I'm not going to constrain myself too much because let me tell you, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't set myself a time, I'll probably allow myself to bring my bedtime a little earlier. Whereas if I say I'm going to go to bed by 12 every night, there's a resistance against myself because
Yeah.
I have a
Now it's
terrible,
yeah.
terrible relationship with authority. And if I try to like bring authority to myself, I challenge it. Like it's so stupid. It's
No.
so dumb. But this is my like, I'm going to do this and I'm saying it out loud for everyone to hear,
Hmm.
period.
Okay, cool. That's it. I think that is very reasonable. And I think for me, similar, I'm getting back into the routine of journaling more. Like I consistently journal like my tarot readings for the most part. But like I haven't been like just writing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've started doing that more. And I feel like I don't have a specific time of the day that I would like to do it because I think for me that'll like I'll have resistance with that. Like I won't do it because I made it, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yep.
thinking at some point in the day, I like generally it's in the morning, or at night, just depends on how tired I am on either end.
Mm-hmm.
But then also for myself, doing yoga is really important, like with that and the act of that. Um, so that's kind of my form of release and kind of getting it out of the body or like
Yep.
releasing stress before bed. So that's been really helpful with my bedtime routine. I feel like I've been able to like sleep better, like more deeply as well.
Oh,
Like
for
wake up
sure.
as often in the middle of the night, whether it be through anxiety or even if I do have anxious dreams, which I did have like a couple of days ago. Like I didn't wake up in the anxiety or panic. I was just like, I was able to like calm myself and it didn't sit and stay in the body. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think that that's such a beautiful way to decompress before bed. You really are, you're paying attention to your body. You're intentionally relaxing yourself, stretching the muscles that you need. You're just being in your body.
Mhm.
And that absolutely, I'm sure, is attributing to better sleep. And I would love to incorporate yoga, even if it's not just yoga, like even if I just simply do a couple stretches before bed.
Mhm.
I think that would be really beneficial because let me tell you, I have been tight. Like
Yeah.
my muscles, especially like the last couple nights, like my neck to my shoulder has
Mhm.
been so tight and I'm stretching it, but it's not like, look, you add stretching and flexibility to your daily routine, your body's just going to feel better overall. And it's especially good for like aging because if your muscles are tight,
Mhm.
you're more prone to injury. You have
Yeah.
to work with yourself and work with your body and understand what actually is healthy and is going to protect you down the line. And
Mhm.
that's something like that I really want to incorporate too. So I might not start doing that right away just because, too much can throw me off, but it is an end goal for sure.
Mhm. So do you want to go ahead and share your dream or dreams first?
Sure. So the first thing I want to do is talk about my dream from last night.
Hmm.
So I know that we wanted to record on Thursday, so we had an extra day to kind of like have that eclipse energy come through.
Hmm.
And yes, the eclipse energy came through, chaotic as hell. And not allowing for like I have it up here,
Hmm.
but I can't translate it.
Oh, uh-oh.
Like I remember it, but I can't translate it. The only thing that I can translate well is that I was on a stretcher with people pushing me, but the people who were pushing me on the stretcher, like or pulling me, pushing me, whatever, um, were dressed like regular people. They weren't dressed like doctors, and everything around them was void. But I know, like I remember my dream, but I
Mhm.
don't remember, and like I can't grab it enough to talk about it,
What was your
and it's so
emotion?
frustrating.
What was the emotion? Can you
Um,
state that?
I would say a mixture between confusion, surprised, and neutrality.
Hmm.
Like I was like confused by the situation and surprised that I was in the position I was in, but I was also just like, well, it is what it is. Like um
Interesting.
which I tend to like do. I tend to be from the perspective because I know that I'm dreaming. So
Yeah.
I know that it's not like real per se, however you want to define real. But there was this aspect of like, ooh, what am I in? What's the
Yeah.
situation?
Where are we going?
Where are we going? And then I woke up. So I wasn't even like I didn't even get to go to wherever they were taking me and find out what was happening. But it's interesting because I don't know, it just felt so random. It
Hmm.
felt chaotic. It felt a little like the collective, like the people who were pushing me on the stretcher or pulling me on the stretcher were like people.
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain
I don't know. What
this.
came to mind is uh, like I felt like it was like you know how people have spirit team. So I feel like it was like maybe your spirit team, like your council, or maybe where you come from in a way. Like if you think of like your soul family, but maybe in other realms, and just mainly because of that void energy too. Like just from
Well,
personal experience, like the void is kind of like almost like moving through dimensions, realities, like when I'm in those spaces, like it's like the in between of shifting.
right. And so for this dream, I did feel like it was the I feel like I was in the collective unconscious.
Hmm.
And what I mean by like the people who were pushing me, like they were no one that I knew personally,
Hmm.
but I knew that they weren't me, like a manifest of my
And they knew
brain.
what they were doing. Like they
And
knew
I knew
they
that
were.
I didn't know exactly what they were doing, but I knew that they were people.
Hmm.
Like I didn't feel like they were otherworldly.
Yeah.
I
Well, does
felt
it feel
like
like
they
they
were
knew? Well, they could have also, my impression was that they probably could have been showing up like as like that. Like, say if it was
right.
like guides or soul family or whatever, like people that groups that you're working with, like energetic, like other beings, like I got the impression that they're just in that form for the purpose of
Right. And normally
that.
like I like cuz when I have dreams where they hide themselves like that, I can normally tell that
Mm-hmm.
they're other beings or my spirit guide dressed as this person. But these actually felt like other people in the collective unconscious. Like
Oh,
I don't it's really hard to like explain. They
yeah.
felt like people on our earth in our timeline.
Oh, okay.
They
Hmm.
didn't feel because uh, normally I'd agree with you with that. Like I have a lot of dreams where they are masked. Like I have spirit
Yeah.
guides, my higher self, whatever it is, or even other beings from other places. Like
Yeah.
they come in and they're masked as like people that make me feel comfortable or whatever it may be. And I know, but this was an experience that I haven't had or haven't had in a very long time.
Hmm.
The way it was like I was a part of the collective unconscious in a more personalized way.
Hmm.
And I can't, maybe like
Maybe
these
it's like you being
people,
held by like held and guided and taken care of by like other people in your life, like or community or something like that. Hmm.
it felt like and I've mentioned this before. There was this episode of SpongeBob where he goes into other people's dreams,
Mhm.
and it was like the community. It felt like these people were in my dream, but I don't know them personally.
Yeah.
Like we tapped into our
Like
brains
you're in
all
the
kind
same
of
field, yeah, field
tapped in.
collectively.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Interesting.
again, like I
Hopefully
agree,
that'll be
it's taken
continued.
care of.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be a to be continued type. Like
I'm
especially with
wondering.
all this curiosity and discussion around it, it'll be cool if it like comes back up again.
I hope so because it was fascinating. Like again, I wasn't scared. I
Yeah.
wasn't nervous or anxious or anything. Like I knew, like I felt comfortable. I was just surprised and kind of confused about the situation. But like it was, I wish I could like explain this better because I haven't had this that I remember. I haven't had this type of experience, and if I have, it's been so long.
Yeah.
But like it genuinely felt like there were people living on Earth who we just tapped in the dream realm. And it's so weird and it's so even saying it out loud, I feel like I'm insane. Like I'm
Mhm.
not insane, but it just
No, I
feels
get
so
it. I
like
yeah.
like
It's
I
hard
mean these
to
could
yeah,
be people that I will never encounter. I'll
yeah.
never find out. I could be in their dreams and they have like no idea who I am. And it was just such a fascinating dream. So I didn't get much from last night, but I did get that and I thought that was just like very I don't
Yeah.
know, interesting.
Interesting. You got to keep us posted with if it comes back up again.
I will. I absolutely
Or if
will.
anything else comes out that you can like translate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
So I just want to share one more dream that I had. So that was just I wanted to share that because it was significant with the energy from the solar eclipse,
Yeah.
and the new moon.
Hmm.
But I wanted to share this dream that I had on August 7th. And I was also in the it felt like I was in the collective unconscious with this one too. So I was in a women's isolation camp. Like it was all these women in this prison camp type situation. And, you know, I was aware that this felt wrong and
Hmm.
I didn't want to be there. And so I gathered up a group of women and convinced them to help me trick the workers so we could escape.
Mm.
And so we came up with this whole plan to distract these workers so that the group of us could leave. And we did. We got the gates to open up, and the group of us ran, and you could hear the sirens blaring and blaring until I ran into a void. And then the dream shifted. And now I'm walking around just a random town. Kind of felt familiar, but also not at all.
Hmm.
And I came across, so it was almost like a nighttime like community gathering. So you had like food stands and like different like music and stuff. And I came across the stage and there was a giant projection screen on the stage.
Mm.
And there was a source from above me, outside of me, talking to me, telling me to jump through it.
Mm.
And so I was like, kind of like, okay. And did I it looked like you would just kind of like fall into this plasticky paper projector screen and that would be it. But I was like, whatever, I'll just trust that I'm being guided. So I jumped through with a couple people and we're in a completely different dimension. And like everything's really bright and green, but nothing's really distinguishable. And I'm looking around and I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. And then I jump through it again. I'm in a completely different dimension again. And this one, it's very like I'm kind of like on this dirt road. It's very dark. And the people who were with me in the last one, they didn't jump with me, so it was just me. And then I woke up. And I just thought that was a really it was really profound in the sense that again that energy of Aquarius and Leo coming through and like the like all of us working together and being supported. But then there was this other aspect of like astral travel
Hmm.
that just it was just so cool. And like I just the source, the voice was so interesting. And it's always interesting when when a voice comes through and it's not like, the dream people around you and it's not
Yeah, it's
you,
just
it's like
kind of like
something
from
else,
like yeah,
like a disembodied voice
yeah,
that is not a
like from the
manifestation
dream
itself.
itself. You're like, where is this even coming from? Like, was it
Yes.
masculine or feminine voice, or was it like kind of
Neither.
neutral?
Like
Oh,
it was a neutral. I couldn't
interesting.
distinguish which
Yeah.
which it was. Yeah. But
Interesting. Yeah.
I just thought that was such a cool dream to have, and like I got excited and wanted to share it.
Well, that was the day before 8/8, which is like a whole
Mm-hmm.
like, portal type like energy around it, and kind of like especially being so close to the eclipse where there's like an acceleration of like your timeline, or just like from point here to be from point A to B or anything like that. Like the whole traveling aspect is a theme, and like going through a portal, like traveling through some sort of space and time. So I really like got a giggle. Like that just kind of was validating for me listening to your dream experience. And also, yeah, it feels like kind of like a shift, like going together as a group, shifting through this reality or moving through this reality into like the next, or creating like or in a new environment, especially where you're like, oh, it's hard to like distinguish certain things, where to me that seems symbolic of like we're moving forward, but it's still like it's hard to really see how that is coming to reality, how it's becoming more tangible and real. And then it's like you on your own personal journey too, jumping again through another portal, or like this, it was the same one, right? Like you just jumped through again.
Yeah, I just jumped through the back of it rather than the front.
Right. So it's like, and then you're in this space by yourself. And so I feel like that just feels really symbolic for like the transition of like what's ahead, like whether it's like the 8/8 or it's the eclipse season, but there's like this, like you're getting an experience of this shift for yourself and for humanity. Um, yeah, and like you're traveling in a group, but also having your own experience. So that's
I
really,
completely agree with that. And I didn't even think about the 8/8 portal
yeah.
being the next day. Like that didn't even like it didn't even go through my head. So bringing that up, absolutely, that makes so much sense. And I agree. I think it is like jumping timelines or jumping dimensions into, you know, what's to come, and like just, being with the community and seeing this brighter future, and then being alone and seeing like the darkness, and it's kind of like a lit path forward but darkness, so it's like me moving through my shadow, and maybe even the sense of encouragement to keep going. So I completely agree with that. And I haven't been talking a whole lot. Like normally we talk about our dreams pretty frequently, but we haven't even really been talking about our dreams that much. And that was one where I was like, I need to tell you. I need to tell you. So I was like so excited to share that.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
like reality shifting and jumping, literally jumping through portals. And I could see how that'd be really exciting. Yeah, we haven't really been sharing because I feel like I know me personally, I'm like, I don't know how many dreams I'm gonna write or remember or record or whatever. So I'm like every like profound dream that I wrote down, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna save it and wait. And it's like, but then it was like starting to build. It's like one after the other, after the other, after the other. So I'm like, okay.
yeah.
And now Mars is in Cancer, which for us, that's in our ninth house. So
Mhm.
there's definitely gonna be some activity in our dream space for
Oh, I'm
sure.
so excited. I'm so excited for that. And like Mars in Cancer too kind of feels a little like I don't know, in the sea, like storms in the sea, like ocean, like really intense ocean storms. I don't, that's
Well, and
coming
it's
through
also
like
trine our we have both have water Mars and water signs. You have in you
Mhm.
have Pisces, so that's gonna create like a creative dynamic, you know.
Oh
Like it's
yeah.
almost like a triad. It's like my Mars, your Mars, and then the Mars
And
trans
then the
like has a
Mars transitioning, yes.
happening. So that'll be fun. But yeah, my turn.
Yeah, do you want to? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I will say I wasn't gonna share this. I'm just gonna make this little point because I wasn't gonna. I'm gonna share my recent dreams that I literally had this morning. But I think it was like the 6th. I had this dream, August 6th. So it would have been that morning. Or it could have been August 7th. But I know it was right before 8/8. Basically, I had a dream. In my dream, I was like walking down the hallway. So there's a long hallway in my house from like basically the kitchen. Obviously, there's an access point from the living room, but it's like the kitchen to the back of the house, basically where the bedrooms are and the bathrooms are. So, like, you have to walk down there to get to my bedroom. So, in the dream, I was walking down the hallway, and at the end of the hallway, which is there's a closet there with like, towels and sheets and stuff like that. But there was basically a lion laying on the floor, kind of like a house cat like on the like in the at the end of the hallway, and I like walked up to it and I like pet it and everything like it was like my cat. It made me think about the strength card in the Rider Waite
Yeah.
Smith tarot. And it was funny because I remember like there was definitely fear in the dream. Like I was definitely aware of like this is a fucking lion in my house. Like, but it had that animal companion type vibe. And I remember I was like, and I was, lucid enough where I was like, I would normally get really like, I'd be scared. And it would be like, I'd be like having anxiety or whatever, panicking in the dream. But I was like, no. But I knew I was like, I can't really be in fear because it's a freaking lion and I didn't want to respond to that. So I was like, thank you for being here. And then I walked in the bedroom and then there was like the dream was definitely something about facing fears because then there was like a whole situation with a spider. But I
Right.
remember waking up and like I was so like just fascinated with the lion. And and it was very close to lion, like 8/8, which is also like the Lion's Gate thing. So I was like, oh my God, that's so cool that it showed up in my dream. So anyway, that was something I was holding on because that was gonna be the dream I shared, but
I love that dream. So I wanted to ask you, do you feel like it was the lion itself? Do you feel like it was a manifestation of your own mind, or do you feel like it was otherworldly, more spiritual?
I feel like it was definitely more spiritual. Like
That
I
I
feel
was
like
gonna
it was
say, it
like, yeah,
feels so like spirit guide
yeah,
or like other just coming to
yeah.
show comfort and remind you of who you are
It felt
and
like
like show
family.
that you're
Yeah.
in support.
Yeah. It felt like when I have big cats show up in my dreams and their family. Which I mean has
Yeah,
been kind of happening with dogs too. But I don't know. Yeah, no, the dogs are my
it
family too.
feels
It's interesting the
different with
cat.
dogs.
Yeah, there's like a different feeling. Like I don't know, but yeah, no, it was definitely like, oh, this like my family's here. Or like it's definitely a protective energy.
Hmm.
Which is interesting because when I did go in my bedroom, like with the spiders, there was definitely like a fear energy there with
Yeah,
the spider, and there
like
was
almost like a danger,
yeah, well, it was like yeah,
a different kind of danger.
it
Like,
was
you were aware in
like
your
you know
dreams
how you
that
be afraid, and,
normally
like,
a lion would be dangerous to
yeah,
approach, but you weren't like, but where maybe the spider's danger
yeah,
was a different flavor and had a different
yeah.
effect.
It was more so like if you saw a really big spider in your room, like that kind of fear, like it was like that, like having,
Hmm.
and it was like I had to face the fear, and it was weird because the spider kind of like it had something in its web, but it was almost like if you've seen the movie like The Predator or like Alien, like and how they're
Hmm.
like in the sack, and it's
Mm.
like yeah, so it was like it had that kind of vibe, but it was so weird. But and then I woke up kind of right after that, and it was so like unsettling that it was for a minute I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be hard for me to sleep. I had to like turn my phone flashlight on, make sure there was no like spiders like around my head or because it was like
Yep.
behind the bed type situation in the dream. So I was like, Is this going on right now? There's a spider like dangling above and my psyche's like tuned in somehow, but it was fine. Um,
Well,
so,
real quick before
yeah.
you, because I know you want to talk about your dream from last
Yeah.
night, but I'm really curious. The following days after this dream experience, did you find yourself facing a fear
Mm,
in the waking?
I think more so around the eclipse, and you kind of know about,
Yeah.
yeah. So it wasn't
Okay.
like directly after, but I mean within like three, four
Couple
days.
days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
definitely for sure. Um,
Wow.
but anyways, we'll talk aside from that because that's not the one I wanted to share. I had to share it because
Yes.
you brought up like right around the Lionsgate, and I wanted to share that. But okay, so we like you said, we wanted to wait until after the eclipse to see what kind of dreams we would have. So I had two dreams, very short. First dream, I was in the basement of a house that pretty much felt like my mother's house. And there was an eerie feeling in the basement that in waking life, it's the same eerie feeling. It was probably like heightened a little bit more in the dream. But, anyways, I wanted to leave from the basement. And my daughter was with me. And she was like fine with hanging out. She was doing her thing, but I wanted to get out of there. And so she had all of her plushies with her, which was about 12 to 15. And so I was like, I told her we're going upstairs. And so I was like taking initiative and grabbing all the plushies. Like, I'm like, I don't have time to wait for her to like try to get them. Generally, like in waking life, she has me gather all of them anyways, because she has literally like 15 that she travels with and everything. And so, like, if
Aw.
we're going to my mom's house, like, she has to bring them. So, anyways, in the dream, I was able to get pretty much all of them. She carried a few because the thing was, I was like, I don't want to come back in this basement.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm grabbing all the stuff now. And so then we got upstairs, and I remember I was like, I was relieved. And I mentioned, I was like, all of this time down there got in the way of me spending time with my mom. And as I was saying that, like, the image that I had in my mind in the dream, it was hard to know if she was there, but it was my grandmother. And
Hmm.
then basically, I don't know if I woke up, but that was like the end of the dream. That was like the most significant part of that dream. So I thought that was interesting.
So, okay, right off the rips, this to me is very profound and very powerful. And the one question I wanted to ask you before I kind of like dive in a little bit is, did you ask Sidori if she had any dreams that morning when you woke up? Because, or
No,
like when she was in your dream, did you feel like it was a manifestation of your mind, or did you feel like you guys were kind of like connecting in the dream realm?
it kind of felt real. I mean, a part of me when I woke up, I was like, because often I know when she's in my dreams with me, it's like she is like it's a younger version of myself that I'm interacting with, but
Hmm.
it just shows up as her. But it was so real of like our waking life. So I don't know. Like it kind of like it felt like she was really there because these are things that one, it's the same feeling I get in my mom's basement. And when I go to in my mom's basement, she comes down there all the time and she's like, because there are toys and other things of hers down there. She's like, oh, what's this? Or like she's like curious. And I'm like, we gotta go upstairs. I don't like the way it feels up here or down.
I actually
Yeah.
love, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I just
you're
like
good.
I just love this because it feels like protective energy.
Yeah.
Like it felt like she was there to like protect you. And I think about like
Yeah.
all of the stuffed animals, like she probably feels protected by all the stuffed
Mhm.
animals around her. And so like to have all the stuffed animals with her and you in this space that feels uncomfortable and just like the energy is off, like it just feels so like, and then to have your grandmother come through too, like the amount of protective energy that I feel like is coming through in your dream space is just so profound.
Speak of the devil. Um, her popping up in the room. Yeah, no, I think you're spot on about that. And I need to ask her because it was this morning and I generally do ask, I'm like, how's your dream space? Um, so that'll be interesting to see what she said. But it was everything was so real to like waking life. So that's and like the next dream that I'm going to share is also like that. What I will say is that another part of the dream that was kind of real in some ways is like recently I've been getting this like just like symbolism showing up in my life of like, you know how in dreams like the basement represents like something like the more hidden aspects of our consciousness,
Yeah.
conscious mind. Um so I literally just like cleaned and organized the basement. And in the act of doing that, I had discovered that there's like a water damage, like a wet spot, like
Mm.
from like underground. So there's like
Oh,
water getting in. So there's damage to the foundation and blah, blah, blah. So that's like that discovery along with like I've been having a lot of carpenter ants, which is normal. But they've been in the cabinets and it's been like a little bit more intrusive than normal. And so, like I've talked about before with you and like the centipedes and stuff, I was like,
mm-hmm.
okay, like I feel like there's a message. And when I was looking into it, it was speaking about like hidden things coming to light, especially with them being in the cabinets, and they tend to like come through like moldy, wet, or not maybe not moldy, but like wet things and openings in the foundation. I'm like, and then having this dream, and I've also like had readings where it spoke to like hidden things and coming out of the subconscious. And so I'm like, after I had this dream this morning, I journaled it. I'm like, what can I just know? Like, is it already illuminated and I'm just not like fully aware of it, or is it still coming? But can you just fucking come? Like, so it's something's like coming like through. Um,
Right.
but I kind of in a way think I know now. Um, so
It's
there's
probably a combination of things
yeah.
that you've been experiencing, things
Hmm.
that are integrating from your past, and
Yeah.
things that are like coming light from the future. Like it's probably a mixture. And, I'm sure you've already figured this out, but like if it were my dream, I would kind of focus on what has already happened or is happening right now,
Yeah.
and then like to prepare for the future, moving through what's going on already.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be revealed to you.
Yeah.
Like,
We were talking
it's going to
about
be
masks being like, dropped and stuff like that.
dropped.
That makes sense. Okay, second dream, really quick.
Okay.
Same, it was all this morning, but I was at a show or like some small concert and I had this big instrument that was awkwardly placed in a bag. And the instrument, like when I think about it, it's not anything like that I've ever seen like in reality. Um, but it definitely was old, kind of like ancient, like something. And so it was awkward in this bag. And for whatever reason, I called the company and asked that it was from to ask them about this, like, and they basically said, like, it's fine to take it out of the bag. Like, no one cares about it. No one's going to steal it. Like, it's like nobody's really like sought after this thing for a long time. So, anyways, I took like, I don't know, the scene changed. I took that out of the bag and whatever, it wasn't a big deal, but like, or no, it was still the same scene, but then my focus shift to like a bag of old clothes. And
Mhm.
I was like going through the bag and I was like, oh my God, I remember this shirt. I remember this dress. I remember like, it was like, oh my gosh, like I was really excited because I'd forgotten about all this stuff. And then there were things that I wanted to donate to, but so then the scene changed, but still with this bag of clothes, I was just in a different location or something. And I was like, oh, I'm going to leave the stuff that I don't want. I'm going to leave it here because I know like the quote unquote right people, which in the dream were people that I've worked with in the past in like restaurants. Like I was like, I know that they will like really like this stuff or they'll want it basically. And that was pretty much the bulk of the dream that I remember. But this is also a reflection of my waking life because I have for the past like 7 days or so, like I have been in purge mode and I have like was going through clothes that I had tucked away. And it was like a bunch of stuff like this shirt and a lot of things where I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize I have this. And I've been donating stuff too. So I was like, it's interesting how like my dreams, like they have a deeper meaning, but they're also very like directly reflected something of
Yep.
things that are going on in my waking life already. So I thought that was interesting.
I love that because symbolically that purge is really important. And
Yeah.
like what it brings to mind is like a merging of maybe your past lives or your ancestors
Yeah.
with your past self. in this lifeline, like in
Right.
this lifetime. And like that merging, kind of like taking what works for you and what has worked for you in the past and in your past lives and bringing that forward, we're leaving behind, but not just throwing away, turning into something constructive. Like
Yeah.
that aspect of giving these things, knowing that it would be put to good use and the intention behind what's being left behind
Yeah.
in, I don't know, a more constructive way. And I just feel like that definitely is relevant to just the time, like what we're experiencing as a whole, but also, like you said, it's reflective of your waking space, not just, I'm sure, with going through your clothes, finding what works for you and getting rid of what doesn't, but also probably mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in general, where we are with our path and where you might be on with your path.
Yeah. It's like the integration of like the past, the present, and then excited for what's to come and like being okay with leaving, like I don't have to hold on to everything. And that's been something that's been major too, like with
Yeah.
physical things and just pretty much everything. So I thought it was really interesting. It was literally like a mirror of everything. That dream specifically, what I'm experiencing right now. And then the other dream was kind of like something coming to illumination.
Yep.
But I also feel like it's already been illuminated, but it's like, I don't know. So just looking a
Yeah.
little more into it.
Absolutely. I love that aspect of like this instrument that is ancient and there's no like ties to it in reality, but you know that it's so old and it just, there's something about that in particular that feels very like past life or
Yeah.
like ancient energy. I just,
Yeah.
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just love the combination of these symbols and dreams and the energies.
Yeah. They've been fun. So, speaking of ancestors,
Yes,
we are pulling cards, right? And I'm gonna pull from this new deck that I got, which is called The Secrets of the Orc or The Secrets of the Ancestor. So, I'm gonna see what message we have. Do you already have your card?
I do. I'm going to be sharing from my Obsidian Oracle deck, and the card already popped out. So we got String of Pearls and
Ooh,
Feather.
love that plant. I could never keep it alive.
I have one, and it's surviving. It's not like happy, happy. It's not like super growy, growy. Like she's long, but she's not thick, and she's not continuously.
Yeah.
She needs love, but she's alive. So
He's
that's
alive.
something, I guess. All right. So we have. Oh, I'm like, where's Feather? It starts with String of Pearls. Anyway, um, oh my fucking god. Sorry. As soon as I saw the keywords, I was like, right, sure. Okay.
Oh, I'm
So
excited.
the String of Pearls and Feathers keywords are behaving ethically and restoring karmic balance.
What?
I
Interesting.
just
Oh,
like
the feather. Yeah. Okay.
you can't make it up. The wearing of pearls is considered to enhance your beliefs and values, promoting purity, chastity, and happiness. They are also believed to help balance karma and strengthen truthful relationships. Feathers are symbols of spiritual messengers, even of angels, often representing a need to listen to the higher realms. When it seems as though unethical behavior is rewarded in so many areas of our lives, it can be tempting to lower your own standards. We all make mistakes, act in ways we regret later, but the karmic price eventually comes due. So consider before you act how this will affect yourself and others. The decision you would make if you knew someone was watching. Make ethical behavior your priority at this time. I'm sorry, like I had to stop, like kept pausing because I'm like, we literally just had a full conversation
That's
about this.
crazy. I mean, it is literally a direct reflection. So, yeah, we are obviously in alignment with that, the right flow of energy. So, of where things are going. I don't have any words. for that.
No,
Pretty much
no.
at all.
It said it all.
So my card here is risk it all is the key term. Hold on, let me see if I got it.
Ooh.
Root of fire.
Ooh.
So this is
Which
definitely feeling like that solar eclipse Leo energy.
absolutely.
Activation, Leo node activated. So it says, yes, you can make it happen. It is safe for you to feel beyond your usual limits. Embrace your personal freedom and follow your passion. Be curious. If you are an advocate for social issues or an activist, let your voice be heard. You can make a difference. All root and plant spirits are messengers. The root of fire, also called the African dream root, is an indication to move ahead. This plant ancestor wants you to explore your passions with enthusiasm. The declaration is, I am passionate about my next steps. And this is the correspondence is Page of Wands. So wow.
I this is ridiculous. Like I can't I you cannot make this
Should we
up.
actually be surprised at this point? Like this is a wild.
Let me tell you, I journaled about this the other day. I am surprised every single time the cards come out exactly of what I'm experiencing.
I
I
said,
don't know why I'm always surprised. I guess it's just like I guess it's good to be surprised because it's an exciting surprise, you know?
yeah.
At least I feel like
No, it's
it's an exciting
fun.
surprise.
You're just like, wow, it like doesn't stop.
Right. But like I know I trust the cards, but it's always a surprise that it's like
We're like, oh, this is really happening. Yeah.
right
Yeah.
on point.
So, I mean, everyone has spoken. The cards have spoken. We've spoken. The stars, the moon, all of that. So, you guys,
So
please
now
feel
it's
free
your
to share in
time
the
to
comments.
speak.
Yes, share in the comments. Let us know, or feel free to email us privately at the Interverse podcast at gmail.com. Our next episode is going to be the next in the Tarot and Dream series, and we're going to be talking about the lovers. I'm so excited. Um, Finally, a card that I'm excited about. The last two, we were like, but they always come around. So,
They do.
um,
They do.
anything else you want to share?
No, just make good decisions, reflect on yourself and you know your life and you know your experiences, do some good shadow work, pay attention to your dreams and feel free to share them with us.
Awesome. Well, on that note, everyone, we will see you in the next one. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.